Guys, this is Analogman here again with another episode of Analog Labs, and this time we're bringing you a actually really weird match. Actually, Machinedramon versus Babamon Control. Or actually, to be fair, my deck is also Control, so it's basically Machinedramon Control versus Babamon Control. These two decks, both me and my friend actually, we both came up with these individually, and we just wanted to test out the deck to see how it actually worked out. In my case, I just wanted to find a version of Machinedramon that really worked for me, as I mentioned in the deck profile I posted recently. And so far, in this match, it was kind of weird. I started off the match with just playing down a Tamer, and then my opponent just set up a Cherrymon, and here I'm actually using Reinforce, and I'm actually setting it up kind of weird. Here I do decide to put the Wyvern's Breath into the security while I add a Metal Tyrannomon. For me, the idea, like the thinking behind this was that with how Machinedramon works, you can summon him by adding stuff by equipping from the hand or trash. So there would be no point to basically putting it in security because then I wouldn't see it. So I essentially decided to keep it in hand so that I can just play it whenever I could. Here my opponent plays down a Mimi and goes to 0 here. Or yeah, I believe 0. And then he hard plays a Vegemon, putting me to 4. I'm assuming at this point, my opponent was trying to essentially like swarm me and maybe swing a little bit higher, but I do believe he was also trying to evolve up the chain to draw into his Babamon to set up the Rosemon kind of situation that the deck was trying to do. Here, I do boost up all the way to 9 security or 9 memory. And then I do play Wyvern's Breath because whenever you see green with a level 5, you want to get rid of it ASAP because they most likely next turn will be turning that into a level 6. So you want to just get rid of it as fast as possible. Which is why I Wyvern's Breathed it. Here I play another reinforced memory boost, and this time I put the Tamer, another Izzy and Joe in there as well. And my thinking is the same, just basically trying to get as many level 5 cyborgs into my hand as fast as possible. But the weird thing is that in this match, it does take me a bit of time to draw into them. So the match did actually drag on a bit longer. Um, this match was actually only one match, but it was one incredibly long one. So yeah, here he ends up just making another Kabuterimon blocker here, and then he makes another Kabuterimon in his raising, thanks to Mimi, I believe. And then here he just kind of hard plays a Goblinmon and passes it to me again. And due to the fact that I do have Izzy and Joe, I do go to 3 by default. So the memory choking there didn't really do much because I basically am guaranteed 6 memory no matter what, especially against green because they do overextend a lot and spam the board. So I will no matter what get 3 memory even if I'm at 1. So here I'm kind of contemplating what I want to do. And in this case, I do believe I try to play something. Yeah, here I play a Metal Greymon, putting him to 4 or 3, was it? No, 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 yeah. I put him to 4, but he hasn't actually. Yeah, because my thinking was that when I swing with him, I can at least delete the Goblinmon. But this honestly, I feel like it was a huge gamble because I did not know if he actually had a level 5 or level 6 in hand, or possibly even Chaosmon in hand. So this was honestly a really huge gamble on my part, which in reality, I shouldn't have done, but at this point, I could have boosted up and potentially passed it, but at the same time, he did have Mimi, so he would have gotten 3 memory. So just one extra memory, one extra memory doesn't really hurt me in this situation, especially since my security is at least at this point at 7. So even if he swung with everything, it wouldn't have really been that big of an issue. So I just kind of went with it. Here, my opponent is kind of contemplating what to do because of how my board state is. I mean, it's a very small board state, but it's a very impactful one. I have a guy that can pop something. I have a memory boost. I have Izzy and Joe on board, and I still have my baby to basically allow me to continue to use yellow options. So it's just trying to figure out what the best play is in this case. I was not, of course, I'm not privy to what his hand was, so I didn't know what he was going for. Here, he just ends up evolving his Digimon all the way up to Rosemon in Raising, which honestly I feel like was probably the safest move because if not, because at the same time he didn't know what I had in my hand, so risking a removal was not a good idea. Here I do swing with the metal Greymon, and I do pop his Goblymon, which is good for in my situation because I just want to get rid of it. Here I do unfortunately hit into a Lucimon, which really sucks, but it doesn't really matter in my case because my guy is able to grab Metal Greymon from trash, so it's not that big of an issue. Here I hard play Hagurumon so that I can discard the blocker Megadramon so that I can draw two. This is why, honestly, I don't ever run less than three of this Hagurumon because it's such a great card. It just lets you discard any machine or cyborg and you just get to draw two. It's so good. And here it's just me setting up just a little guy, but it doesn't really matter. Here I just pass to five, giving mainly to just boost up my security one more time. Because from what I remember, the new Rosemon from EX1 does hit for 2 security if it does Digiburst, and it also suspends something when it swings. So here, my thinking was that I could boost my security up so that it could potentially hit into maybe a removal or maybe a Zwart defeat or something that was really big. So here he does push up Rosemont in raising, and using Mimi, he does hatch another egg, and he does draw by evolving it into another Argumon. He does make another Kabuterimon, which is unfortunate for me because I basically can't swing through until I basically get my Machinedramon at this point. So the game kind of like drags on a little bit, but it's still pretty hectic here. Here, my opponent is trying to figure out what to do. And I do believe they do swing with Rosemon, but first they do Digiburst with it, I believe. Actually, no, my bad. This isn't the Digiburst version. This is just the X1 version. So she swings and suspends something, and then I do believe she gets boosted or she gets an extra security. Here, she hits into a Machinedramon, so no big deal. Then here he does use Vegemon to swing into security, and of course hits into oh yeah, no. We had a miscommunication issue here. He actually meant to hit in my Hagurumon, which was fine. We easily corrected the issue. So here, his idea, I assume, was to kind of like clear my board, but also poke a little at my security. So this did make sense in retrospect. Here I'm honestly I was still wondering why he swung with the block or if he was thinking of swinging with the blocker because here oh yeah here this move did actually hurt me a bit. Playing down a Terriermon, especially the one that hard stops memory gain if it's not a tamer, really hurts my deck, especially because yellow memory or reinforcing memory boost is really crucial to this deck. So having not having enough memory actually does really hurt me in this case. Here I'm kind of contemplating because now that Terriermon's out, I can't really do it the way I was planning. But he did give me 5 memory thanks to the Izzy and Joe, so I do end up just popping the Rosemon with a Onslaught. That's the thing about dealing with security control or just security decks in general. Both decks are just kind of trading back and forth essentially. Here I respond back, from my deletion of my other two Digimon with more deletion basically. But yeah, here I pass it with the onslaught. I do pass it back to him for 3 memory, and then here he's contemplating what he wants to do. Honestly, I feel like here he could have just kind of stuck with the board he had, honestly. because evolving up from Terriermon is not a good idea. And he does keep Terriermon out, but at the same time, I do have removal to get rid of it. It just takes a bit of time. Here, he does pass, giving me 5 again. And unluckily for me, he did not evolve his Terriermon, so he does memory choke me a little bit. Here, I just opt to just pass to him by playing Cordramon because my hand at this point I do believe was really bad. I was still not drawing all my level 5 cyborgs, so hard playing a Cordramon was probably the best idea at this point. And giving him free memory is fine because he was going to go to that anyway because of Mimi. Cordramon is just kind of there, but the fact that he helped me draw 2 cards potentially could have helped me out. Here, I do start removing the level 5s so that I can keep track of them. At this moment, I only have about 3. I know I have 2 in my trash and 1 in my hand at that point of the match. It was really weird because I just could not see them. I feel maybe in the future, maybe running more of him might be the better option. Or, I mean, running more level 5s, but I feel like running more might break the deck, so here it's just whatever. Here he does tap Terriermon, which is honestly not really that great of an idea because Cordramon can swing for next turn, but he does do it so that he can pull out a Blossomon and of course use Mimi to push out another blocker. Honestly, I don't know what was this like. Personally, I would not have done this next play because with Blossomon out, he could have evolved it up to a level 6, and it would have done more damage the next turn, especially because I had no removal left in my hand. But here, I do believe he does swing in with the Blossomon, and it is kind of a risk. But I feel like in the situation we had, he already knew that it was an Izzy and Joe, so it was kind of safe to swing in. But at the same time, honestly, I feel like he could have just evolved instead because then that would have basically not given him more memory. Here, he hard plays a Magna Angemon, which does essentially put me all the way up to 9 memory, which is insane because he basically just gave me a ton of resources to work with. So here, I do swing Cordramon, I believe. My thinking at that point was that if I swung, he would have to block with one of the Kabuterimons. But for some reason, he didn't realize that Cordramon was only 5,000. So he could have actually blocked it. But instead, he opted to just let his Terriermon die, which actually slightly might have screwed up his chances because that there on the field or that Terriermon being on the field hurts me and does not allow me to do any of my memory boosts, which really sucks. Here, I just hard play a Hagurumon so that I can discard a machine that was in my hand, and it was a Volcanomon. So I can draw 2 more cards off of that, which was really good. This actually put me in a really good state because I think at this point I had 4 machines in hand and I just needed the 5th one. I know I had at least 2 Machinedramons already in hand, so it was just a matter of waiting. Here, his board does seem a bit scary, but I do right here. I do play a tactical retreat to kind of recover my security and put Cordramon back in, especially now that he's already swung. Here, I mean, it is like he does have a gigantic field. He has 5 monsters on board, and I think I only have about 6 security at this point, so it is a bit scary. But with all the removal that I have in my hand, it is already fine. So here I do end the turn and pass it to, I believe, exactly 3 again by popping his highest cost, and his highest cost would be his his Blossomon. We did have a weird issue here because both Blossomon and Magna Angemon were actually 7 cost, which actually allowed me to pop both of them, which was really crucial here because that did clear at least that did clear half his board in that case, which is not good because with how it is to fight security control, you have to essentially kind of poke every turn and just kind of swarm a bit. So here it was just kind of a weird stand that we were both in, like me having the tamers and the memory, and then him having the two blockers and the veggie. Um, I feel like both our decks were just kind of like stalling at this point because his whole plan was to get Babamon out, but he just never saw it until I think probably towards the end of the game. So here it was just kind of weird. Yeah, here he is contemplating here. He does hard play a Machinedramon, and having 10 cards already in his trash, he does get to play it for 5, putting me to 2, but I do gain 4 off of that, which is nice. So I'm sitting pretty well at 6 memory, and he does not have Terriermon on board, so I can pop my memory booster and just kind of do stuff. Here I'm still kind of contemplating what to do because my hand has a bit of options. I do end up popping it and going, I believe going up to 9. So here I do believe I just pop his Lucemon, I think. Or no, actually no, never mind. I do end up playing the Cordramon so I can draw 2 more cards. And I'm still essentially fishing for the last card, which really sucks, but you know, that's just how it is sometimes. Here I am contemplating what to do in this sense, and here I do opt to pass and just heal again because here his board is only 4 Digimon strong at the moment. So having like 7 or 8 security already kind of deters me from even losing at this point, which is a really good situation. Like at this point, I think my situation was fine. I had really nothing to worry about. I was just essentially waiting for Machinedramon at this point, just waiting for that crucial like 5th cyborg. Here, I do believe he plays a what is it? He also played his own reinforcing memory boost. Here, he does put in 1 Digimon, and here I believe he's already at 7 security, like 1 less than I am. So he does pass it back to me, and here I do swing. We actually neglected here to add the memory after he passed it over to me, but this was just one misplay that we did in the whole match. Here, I do like my idea is that after I swung on the Haguro, he would have blocked, so I would have at least gotten rid of something. So trading the Kabuterimon for the other one. Here, I do discard to draw again. Oh yeah, no. This is where I actually did correct the memory issue. So here, I do finally play Machinedramon after so long. I tell him that he is at 8 memory, but here I demonstrate basically what Machinedramon does. I equip 4 from trash and 1 from hand onto Machinedramon, and he gains essentially all their effects, and I regain 5 memory, putting him exactly at 3 memory. Here, he has both reboot, blocker, piercing, security +1, and I do believe blocker as well, a second blocker card actually. So here, my Machinedramon is essentially a huge threat at the moment, and if he doesn't essentially get rid of it at this point, he will be in a bit of danger. Here, he is trying to contemplate like how to get rid of Machinedramon because um, I have essentially like shown him how Machinedramon works before, but this was actually the first time that he had actually seen it like in action. That wasn't a proxy essentially. So here it's just like Machinedramon is just a huge threat. Like when he drops on board, you have to be ready to get rid of this guy because all of his abilities just make him so powerful that most decks just can't really handle him. And green is one of the decks that does have an issue dealing with Machinedramon because he's just so big um, on both turns, on your opponent's and your own turn, that it's just like he's just almost impossible to get rid of, especially with the fact that he can detach at least twice to keep himself alive. And then if you combo that with the Izzy and Joes that I already have out on board, if he does die, I end up just basically drawing two in and potentially possibly making another Machinedramon the next turn, which is really rough to deal with, especially the fact that he does have security +1. So next turn, I will be swinging for two. Here he does finally get out his Babamon, which is really awesome because the Babamon on deletion, just any deletion, even by DP reduction, when it dies, it can resummon a Rosemon from grave, from the trash. I mean, sorry, old Yu-Gi-Oh term, but yeah, basically he can just basically summon a free Rosemon if it dies. So you basically get to swing and get a free level 6 back on board. I feel like with his deck, I feel like he could have ran maybe both the green black Chaosmon and the green yellow, because since he runs Babamon, he can run at least one copy to kind of like get rid of Machine, or actually he can't get rid of Machinedramon in that case. Only the other Chaosmon would be the best option. So it's just really rough because like Machinedramon also, I forgot to mention, he cannot be DP reduced. So even with a Valder Arms, it is hard to get rid of him. So probably the best option would be using the black green Chaosmon to hit. So here, I'm explaining that I have piercing. So here, I do believe I swing through his Lucemon to hit for 2 security, especially because he forgot to attack with the other Babamon. So he does have a unsuspended, which does gives me security +1, and because it's a machine, it gets piercing. So I punch through, I hit Vegemon, and I hit a Cherrymon. And I am sitting pretty well. I do believe I'm at 7 memory still. So here I opt to just kind of keep going. Here I think I'm kind of contemplating like should I essentially kill his Babamon and give him a free Rosemon or not. But I think I do opt to just yeah, I do just opt to Wyvern's Breath it because just one Rosemon on board doesn't really do much. So here I just pass it to 1 on his turn just to kill the unsuspended one. And then I do believe he triggers the effect of it at this point to summon a Rosemon. I think at this point he was kind of trying to figure out what he could do in this situation, because even if he had a Rosemon on board, it's just how oppressive Machinedramon is and how much security I'm already at. It is kind of a weird like it's kind of a weird situation because at this point it is really hard to regain back the momentum to essentially take out my security. So here he's still like kind of like contemplating what he's doing, but here he I think he finally does resolve the effect finally. But instead of making a Rosemon, he actually opts to summon 2 yellows, which will essentially help him swarm the board a little bit more. And then Machinedramon, because it has Metal Tyrannomon, it does reboot. So he is also a 11,000 blocker. So this does also help with dealing with certain big threats. Because Machinedramon, the cool thing, actually, I did find this out recently. Basically, with how piercing works, it has to delete the Digimon through battle to essentially count as piercing. But if the Digimon survives, you actually do not get piercing. You are not allowed to get it, essentially. You have to survive the battle and delete something. So if you basically both survive, you do not get the piercing. Here, he does opt to swing with the Babamon, and I do block it with the Machinedramon, and this time he does bring out his Rosemon again, but unfortunately, because it was just summoned this turn, it does have summoning sickness, so it is really rough. Here, he does combo that by basically bringing out a Terriermon through Mimi. This does slightly hurt me, but I don't have a memory boost out at the moment, so it doesn't really affect me at the moment, but it will later. Here he opts to swing with the Bushi. He hits into a Holy Wave, which of course does heal my security back up. He swings again with another Bushi. Here, Iron Onslaught, and it does kill his Rosemon this time, which is unfortunate, but that's just how security is. Sometimes you just hit the Digimon, sometimes you just hit into a lot of removal or option cards. Here he's just like trying to figure out what to do in this situation. Because the situation is a bit rough. He does opt to hard play a Babamon and then just boost me essentially all the way up to, I believe, 10 memory. Here I reboot, and then I do believe I swing with both Digimon in this turn because I essentially have 3 attacks in this. So here I opt to swing and then pierce through one of the Bushi Agumons, and then do 2 security on him. So yeah, I just picked the one on the right. Here I hit in the Goblimon and a Machinedramon, so no issue. Um, then here I swing with the Haguromon as well into security, and I do hit a Cherrymon, so unfortunately it does die. Here, since I already have like 10 memory, I do believe I just opt to just go for it because at this point I know I basically have victory. So I play that for 7 cost to basically pop his board. Then I do believe I do another heal or I summon something. I'm not 100% sure. Here I just pass to 3. Actually, no, like I think I opted to just not summon anything. So I just passed it to him for 3, which, I mean, it's fine. It happens. Sometimes here he does opt to hard play a Vegemon, which does put him at or actually no, I think I do I think I did put him actually at more memory. Here he does swing into the Cordramon, and I do draw 2. There were a few misplays that we did do this match, as you can notice, but this was honestly our first time playing each deck, so I mean, it happens. Honestly, it really does. It's just us getting used to the deck. Here he does Digizorption to make a Blossomon. And then he does hard play the Magna Anja, which also does give me an additional 4, so it does put me to 9 memory. But unfortunately, I was actually telling him in this case he should not have actually played the Magna Anja because he already had both tapped Digimon, so I would not have gotten a security +1. But he forgot about the effect of that, so I just opt to just swing for 2 security again, and this time piercing through the Blossomon. And then I hit another Magna Andromon, which really sucks, and then a small little Argomon, which also is very unfortunate. His security was very weird. It honestly, like, it just didn't have as much in it, so it made it really tough for him essentially to survive. Here I also swing at the Cordramon, and I do believe it does die because it hits his last Babamon, basically. And at this point, I think both of us were actually really close to decking out because I already healed a ton and I had already done a lot of stuff. Here, since I'm still at like 9 memory, I just opt to do this play. I do check my trash to see if I even have any machines in there, but here I just make another Machinedramon. So here I do play a Gigadramon, I believe. Yeah, I hard played the Gigadramon, putting myself to 3. Then I evolve. I think for 3 cost into another Machinedramon on board, giving him a 13 thing. But my whole plan actually was basically not to swing with it or do anything with it. It was mainly to evolve into the Zwart defeat so that I could pop his Mimi, so he would just basically lose advantage at this point. And basically, at this point, I think it was just blowout because I'm essentially assured maybe 3 security, and he does not have any blockers at this point because I think I already killed basically all his blockers. So here it's just as I said, I think it's just a blowout at this point because even if he swings into security or whatever, I can just block with the Machinedramon. Same with the Zwart defeat. It's just a huge threat on the board at the moment. So no matter what, even if it dies or doesn't hit anything or whatever, it still can delete something. So it's just kind of a really rough state for him because I have a guy that deletes something and I have a guy that can't die by deletion, in the traditional sense. So it was basically game at this point. It was just us like just playing it out essentially. Here he does swing with the Magna Anja, and I do use instead of just hitting his Babamon, I instead just Wyvern Breath, or I use the Wyverns on his Angemon. Here he does swing again, and he does give me a memory boost, but at this point it doesn't really matter because I already basically had game. So here he's just like, whatever, just swing for game, and here I do swing. He just hard plays it because he knows he's basically the game is at this point is over. So he just wanted to go out in style here, and yeah, this is basically game at this point. But yeah, thanks for watching another episode of Analog Labs. See you guys next time.